So I think that'll just about do it, Jimmy. I think we're going live on the YouTubes. The
Nice.
so hello world, Jonathan Munsell here.
Jimmy Borneman, how are you?
So back at the infamous Jimmy and Johnny show. I'm actually at my buddy Rob's
Woohoo's
house. As you can see, I got the full bar behind me. Rob just came through, made a
uh,
cocktail. It's that time on the
it's
East
look
Coast.
it is that time. It's looking good too.
So so what have you been up to, Jimmy? Talk to me.
I have been working on a couple of our new projects, some of our Identifyly projects, some of our, oh, I just lost my screen, some of our new ultimate lead pieces, um, gaining new clients, making new friends, just, keeping busy the good old fashioned way.
Nice. Yeah, my whole day has been around doing marketing audits. I feel like I've done the whole day, and it has to do with our team put out an offer today for 100 free leads, right? So for those of you that don't know, Jimmy and I have a couple companies, and we're not going to give you the big intro today. If you want to learn more, you can go to mysuccesssystems.com/about or any of the pages
Right?
that you
Exactly.
know of us on and hit the about page. But anyway, so we have a couple companies and they put out a thing today for Identifyly. Identifyly has been, I guess, probably my main focus now for the last couple months. It's a rebranding of Lead Lightning, which we've had for a while, and I've just been spending a lot of time there. I just think they've done a beautiful job with it. I think the website's amazing. I think it just shows well, and it's got a lot of technology built in, and the whole thing is around AI technology. So as you guys may know, right, we do a ton of stuff with CRM and marketing automation, and this is taking all of that up a level, and it has a lot to do with more complex AI. So our CRM and Success System Hub and Marketing Made Easy all have AI built into them, and more every day. But right now, the thing that we're talking about with Identifyly is two big pieces, Jimmy. One is website visitor identification. I remember when I first heard about it, my brain flew out of the side of my head, and
It was
I
funny.
called you at like 5 o'clock in the morning. Uh,
Yep, you
that's
did.
one piece, so it can identify visitors to your website even if they don't fill out a form. So imagine that. That's pretty impressive. And then the other pieces of it that have come along and why we rebranded it, because it's not just about leads, it's really about not just identifying even the website visitors, but identifying all of your contacts and processing them through AI conversational tools, which we'll talk a bit about today if you want, Jimmy. And and then taking that information and enriching it and helping you identify opportunities in your pipeline that you probably don't even know exist. And Jimmy, uh, I can see why the people reached out to us. We were inundated today with people reaching out, and I can see why. So I jump in today and I'm like, let me do some of these, marketing audit things. So I jump in, and every site I went to, Jimmy, they didn't have a Facebook pixel. Like one of them, maybe, big company had it. So if you guys don't know, the Facebook pixel also identifies people. And you also have the tag manager. You can have tags on your site. So you have Facebook and you have Google, and they do essentially the same thing as ours. But the difference is that Google and Facebook keep all the information and make you pay for it. With ours, you get all the information and get to use it in a multitude of ways. So it's very
Truth.
similar but different. But if they don't have the Facebook pixel, they don't have the tag manager, they certainly don't have Identifyly set up, and it's just a huge opportunity. And that's a baseline opportunity when I talk about what people should be doing. That's like the first thing, and then from there they should be doing a lot more. Like I just did a whole training last week on lead gen. The remember last week we rolled through the whole lead generation
I do. I
ultimate
do.
lead
Yeah.
system, right? We introduced that. So if you guys weren't on part of that training last week, it's available. It's available
We'll put
online.
the
You can
link
get all the
below.
resources in
Yeah.
the membership site.
Are you talking about the
I'm sorry,
community or the membership site?
the community. They're all interchangeable with me. So our free membership community. Uh, you can get all the resources that we shared on that, and there's a link to the actual video replay, but you can actually see like a whole done for you system that we have built that plugs and plays and really helps with lead generation, and it's everything. It's not just a piece of it. It's everything from your landing page, your opt-in, your thank you page, your lead magnet, the follow-up for your lead magnet, the nurture sequence, all the source files, and then add Identifyly on top of that, add training on top of it, and you can find that at the ultimateleadssystem.com. But there's a replay that's out there, and if you're not part of it, subscribe to this, and I'll share it with everybody that's subscribed on here. But really, go over to the community, which we'll put a link in the description, and you can get to it all there, as well as a whole ton of other free resources and downloads. It's really all the stuff that Jimmy and I talk about. We've now put it in one place, so we can say go over there, as opposed to
Yep.
him or I having to kind of mess around with it afterwards. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's what I've been
it's
doing,
kind of
Jimmy. I've been
taking the
looking at websites and marketing all day.
And I've been looking at ways to deal within that community, which is kind of replacing the Facebook group, that was 18 to 24 months ago. And now this new community is getting put together. And I've been spending a lot of time, like you have, in there, making sure that some of the content, some of the programs, some of the trainings are all kind of connected and interworking. And that, like you said, we have one spot now we can send everybody to go learn in one. It's like a gift to me. It's just amazing.
Yeah. So Jimmy, I mean, do you remember back in the day? So when Jimmy and I met, we both were heavily involved in the restaurant business. We owned restaurants, and we were helping restaurant owners. And I had a membership community back then, early on, and it was my favorite thing in the world. And over time, went and built a huge company and all these different things that we did. Like I lost it, right? And then when we started really building success systems and the hub and all that stuff back in 2019, and really started, putting the pieces back together, that's the one piece, Jimmy, that I felt like I was missing entirely, was the community. And it was back when I restaurant success system, and we were doing that. That was the main focus. We had the membership side. And God, you just put stuff out there, and if somebody needed something, it's like go there, go there, go there, and it had, ultimately it had thousands of downloads, which marketing made easy. Our community will have that as well, if not more. But right now, we're in the early stages. I'll jump on the sword, Jimmy. We're in the early stages of it, but just to get the thing going, Jimmy. I put in the jumpstart kit, so we have what we call the best free gift ever, which it's like over $1,000 worth of downloadables, and you get goal setting workshop, time management, strategic planning, all these tools that we use in our businesses. You get for free. And then I also put the simple plan in there, and I broke it out and revised it. So there's a new version of that, which basically it's our success pillars, and it takes you through human resources, uh, service, operations, marketing, sales, management, and financials for your business. And I don't know, it's probably an hour and 20-minute presentation, but I have it broken up in there really nicely now, Jimmy. And that's all, guys.
Oh,
That's
that's
all
cool.
free in the community.
I haven't seen that
So
yet.
if
That's
they go to
awesome.
community.marketingmadeeasy.app, they actually can get to it.
Oh, nice. And like I said, we'll put it in the link below in the YouTube and
Yeah.
any of the social that we have out there. That's exciting.
So what's your
The
favorite
other
thing about
thing
the
that
community?
I like the fact that the people in the community can actually communicate with each other one-on-one and start building friendships and nurturing relationships. And then there's this, you can make it fun with this leaderboard, people that we can give points and rewards for interaction. So the more that you're engaging in the group, it'll unlock another training or a one-on-one lunch with us or something, whatever we determine it to be. It just really invites community engagement. Like a family. It's really strong. I love it.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I love the whole rewards thing, the gamification of it all. Um, so you actually, you can do steps, you can do different stuff. Ours is pretty wide open right now, and you can kind of get to everything super easy. But as we define it a little more in the future, right? So this is like, you want to go be a pioneer in something, it's the Wild West. When
Yeah.
you get there, 100 years later, you got, streets and rules. So right now it's the Wild West, and we're kind of just
Sim
throwing stuff
City at
out
its
there and giving a
finest.
lot away.
Yes, me being a geek, it's Sim City at its finest.
Yeah, yeah, you can architect
Yep.
it. So for everybody out there that doesn't know, if the that community is built on our Success System Hub platform. So if you wanted to build a community for yourself, you can certainly have access to that through our Success System Hub. It's built into the entirety of our system. So kind of like you can build your web page, your landing page, your forms, all those things inside of there. Well, you actually can manage the community. So we had memberships for a while where you could do kind of isolated. Like that's the difference, I think, Jimmy. One is, you're not really communicating to anybody. You go and you can take a class and stuff. But now this is, way more open, and those are available as part of our system. You can have your own.
That is kind of cool. Any way you shake a stick at it.
Yeah, I'm just
I do
blown away
agree.
by all the stuff that our guys are developing every day, Jimmy. I shake my head like, yeah, here's my shirt. This is me every day. My brain is just churning.
Too funny. Too funny. Yeah, so that
Yeah.
and inside that world, we're actually doing some stuff with some well, bots that are helping schedule appointments for our clients. So spending a lot of time in that world too.
Yeah, talk about that. I mean, we won't disclose names or information, but Jimmy and I have had a few really interesting calls lately, and it's amazing when you're progressive enough and you can think outside the box. And AI is a great place to do it. If what is it? If any man can, if one man can, any man
With
can. Jimmy
one,
says in one of
yep,
your.
that's the sign on my door. If one man can,
Yeah,
any man can. We'll figure it out.
yeah, and right now it's like it's not a matter of if it can do it because it can. It's a matter of figuring it out and building it. And so that's one
Yeah,
of the
and
things that
making
I'll
it
share
sure it
today.
works for their and making sure it works for what their use case is.
Yeah, and you can train them. So there's pieces of it that people need to understand. That's what makes our technology so valuable. Is they're trained, and they're not just trained like on Q&A. Like so that's what people. The basic AI out there that you can get in most places is it's basically an FAQ system. It's going off of a predetermined, amount of information that you gave it. But ours is different. Ours has this like bigger subset of data and information that it can pull from, and some of those are crafted really well towards um, engaging customer service. So they're not just responding like a robot; they're actually designed and prompted differently. And I'll share some of the prompt stuff, Jimmy. Maybe that's one of those today's giveaway. I'll share one of our main prompts that like how we build it and where that data kind of bounces in and out. And if you think that's valuable
Yep.
to the group, I'll share that because I mean we have like 10 instances of it, but I'll definitely throw one out there that and maybe do a little video on it, and just kind of share it with people. If you're doing anything with it, there's multiple levels of it, right? Chat GPT
Mm.
is where
Yep.
everybody first heard about it, and I still use it. And what's the other one? Claude.
Claude. Yep.
Yeah, and if you're not using it, and like, it's funny. Everybody around me today, if they ask a question or something like that, I'm like, have you run that through AI yet? Because what I found, Jimmy, and it's even like, when you're writing something and you're doing something, I'm pretty good, but it takes me some time, right? So what used to take me, say, 10 minutes to write a really well-crafted message, I now can get the basics of it and throw it into Chat GPT. It'll spit out, 8 minutes worth of work, right, that I would have done. And from that point, I can kind of take it, massage it, kick things out. But it's that 8 minutes times, 10, 20 times in a day that is where the magic is. AI is not going to take over the world. It's not going to take your job, but God, it's definitely going to make us more efficient, and it'll probably make us appear smarter than we are.
Yep. You can overuse it
That's my
too. That's
take
the
on
other
it.
scary part though. Yep. Yep. And you can rely on it too much. We're running into people that are trying to sound more professional and you can tell that it's a bot and it's just not communicative. It's just it's written in a 12th grade level and should be in a 5th grade level. I mean, it's just, you really got to play with it too to match who you're talking to when you're talking to them. Is that your brand? Is that your voice? Is that who you are? Or are you trying to be bigger and smarter and you look stupid? So you've got to figure that out too. Ran into that today.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So different than
Went
just
to a
AI
rant
and
on that
Chat
one.
GPT, right? AI and that Chat GPT stuff is one path, right? But it's not what we're talking about when we talk about identifiably and then conversational AI. So I want to be clear
Correct.
about that, and I can jump into Chat GPT right now and ask it some stuff and make it spit out, different things. But this is different. This is about actually communicating and engaging with a customer and getting them to an end result that's really beneficial for you or them. So today I was reading on a guy's site, um, a potential client of ours came through, wanted a demo, and I went and I was looking over the shoulder of the guy that was like doing the like his. We have a thing called a snapshot. So if you guys have never done that, if you just go to marketingmadeeasy.app/snapshot, you can get a whole rundown of your whole marketing. It does it really, really quickly. And I was looking over the guy's shoulder and I saw a review that the guy had that they were bitching about him. Like he got a negative review and it was about how he never called the person back. And so I reached out to the guy and I said, you absolutely could have avoided that review simply by having, our AI chatbot, because it would have gotten back to him and at least placated that person and got them further down the road until you had a moment to respond. And this is where the busy, you know, entrepreneur,
One
small business owner, contractor,
solopreneur.
they get eaten
Yep.
alive with the phone. And if you go to Identifyly, you look at the demo, one of the things we say in the demo is we actually tell people not to answer their phone and then let the bot respond and start the conversation. And it can help qualify them. It can help save a ton of time. It eliminates all the robocalls, by the way. So the there's it's smart enough to do that. So then you're not taking those calls. How many, my phone, Jimmy, these days, I can show you my call log. I get robo dialed 50 times a day, and it's
Oh,
terrible
easily.
because the AI thing, like you can't. What are you going to do? They two machines are going to talk to each other. Have fun. I'll check my
Yeah,
messages
right.
later.
Truth.
I
Truth.
do want to jump over, Jimmy, to I'm going to bring up, if I can. I don't know how well this is going to go, but I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to share. Hold on, I got to do it a different way. Okay. Okay, I'm going to share Chrome tab, new tab, share. Okay, can you see that, Jimmy?
I can.
Hey, all right. Okay, so I do want to go over here. Okay, this was it's screwing with me, Jimmy.
It's running a little slow.
Yeah, it's because I'm
We're doing too
almost
much. We're pulling the bandwidth down. Yep. And Zoom, of
that's
course,
not going to get
always
it done.
takes its toll.
Here, let's do this. I'll spare everybody the misery of me trying to navigate the internet. Okay, let me go. Okay, you can keep going, Jimmy. I'll pull something up for everybody so they can see the differences in what we got.
Yeah, yeah. So if you don't remember us talking about instantly, it it's some magic code that we put up on the site that will allow us to match the people that are at your site before they fall off. So if they don't call you or fill out a form, this magic code will tell us their name, their email, their address if we choose, and a whole lot of other things that we could turn on, and will syncs right up into the success hub so that you can then communicate with them, whether it be an SMS, an email, or a postcard. And it can be instantly or it could be the next day, but you warm up to it because they didn't fill out, they didn't call. they either got distracted or they didn't like it, but you can at least drip on them and try to get that conversation going again. So that's what one of our products with Instantly is, and we're really working towards getting that integrated. When somebody hits your site, let's say you're spending some money on ads, driving them to your site, they'll go to the bot, they'll schedule something, and then you can know who they are if they fall off. It's just a beautifully powerful system these days. Oh, look,
Yeah.
my
So usually,
timing was perfect on that. I shut up, screen come up.
like, yeah, it never works like that, folks, ever. Uh, Not in my world. God, it's always like a fist fight. Um, yeah. So this is our Identifyly site. I want to go down and just, there's lots of reasons why you should be doing it, but I do want to show people some of the differences with it. Um, so it started for us with the website visitor identification AI bot. But the big thing that we found, we find that people that we start to work with tend to have old data and leads that they've just kind of written off. And one of the things we've been miraculous at is taking that old data and turning it into cash. So if you do have, a database list, old list, it doesn't matter because we validate everything, we clean everything. We can have our AI reach out. So if you're not doing anything with it, you should absolutely reach out to us and have a conversation because we have a whole growth partner program where we don't charge for that. We actually do it as a partnership. So that's one of those that, if you have data and want more action out of it, then reach out to one of us because we can do that. So the database reactivation AI bot is great. And Jimmy, what it reminds me of is like there's parallels between classic marketing and then what's going on now that people think is revolutionary. So Jimmy, what's the database reactivation to you if you're thinking old school?
I would take my entire list and I would mail them a postcard and try to get them to communicate with me, or I would
Lost
send them an
customer, right?
email. Yep, exactly.
I mean, that's what it is.
It's true. It's lost
It's the whole
customer. Yep.
lost customer campaign, right? 30, 60, 90 days out. So Jimmy and I, restaurant guys, right? If somebody didn't come in the restaurant, we always had rewards programs we knew. If they didn't come in, the first card out was like, hey, we're a little concerned, right? The next one's like, oh, now we're really concerned. The last one came with like, a rescue like ring on it. Like, you see that it had like a picture
Yep.
of the Coast Guard helicopter. So
Yep.
database reactivation is lost customer, right? So if you
Yep.
guys think of
Yep.
it that
Yep.
way, it's just people that you haven't communicated with, like let's re-engage them, but you don't have to do it. And we can do it a lot of different ways. Like, Jimmy just said, used to mail a postcard. Why used to, Jimmy? Like, I
There's
love
no
direct
reason
mail.
that you asked what I would do. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So Jimmy
Yep.
loves the tell them about like somebody goes to your website. You don't want to seem super creepy. What should you do with the data? Because I don't recommend pouncing on them. What should you do with the data?
Well, one of the things he's speaking of is once the code puts it into the database, the automation can kick in and we can do one of 3 or 4 things. So one of the first things you could do was put out a postcard, and in 2 days, 3 days, it'll show up at their house and say, I hear you're looking for windows, or you're looking for a burger, or something along those lines. Simultaneously, you can drop them an email in the automation system that says, in one day, send them an email so they go, oh, that's right, I was looking for those windows or those doors. And if you want to get aggressive, you can do it instantly, but I wouldn't recommend it. You can send them an SMS message saying, hey, you might be looking for a new furnace, it's hot out, there's some weather coming. And then the postcard comes and all of a sudden you've got 4 touch points and you've spent about a nickel. Without a postcard, you might have spent $1, and they didn't call you, they didn't fill out a form, they were just there. And then all of your marketing stuff, you can dedicate dedicated phone number to know where it came from, and you can dedicate it to another landing page for them to come to. So I can show you that through attribution, that whole circle of they didn't call you, but they got them in a postcard. They called a different number, and all of a sudden you close that circle, and hopefully you started a conversation and closed the sale. So I get really excited about that kind of shit. That's for sure. That looks
Yeah.
like
So,
he went blank screen. There we go. We're back.
yeah, we're back. So the one of the things, Jimmy, that so a great example is, yes, somebody hits your website, you now have their information, right? Our system pulls up to like 40% of your information. So, I was looking at some people today. A guy had 1,000 website visitors. Okay, well, great. He's gonna have 400 more contacts than he had, last month. But I also was on a site, Jimmy, that had 300,000 visitors.
Wow, yeah, that'd be
So
intense.
yeah, well, so again, like so that I would keep them on an email program, but maybe it depends on what you're selling. That the answer is it depends on what you're selling and how much you value and how much you spend to get a new customer and the lifetime value of a customer, right? I can't tell you what the
Yep.
right answer is until I know more about your business, but the one thing I will say is in so very easily with the technology Jimmy's talking about, if somebody is on your site and they're looking at double pane windows and you know that that's one of the pages that they visited, Jimmy can set it up that after tomorrow it'll send them a postcard and maybe an offer about buy two get one free double pane windows, and just think about the timeliness of that when it hits them, within a few days of when they were on your site, they looked at it, they didn't make a buying decision. Now you're like engaging them physically, right? It's showing up in front of their house. The other thing that you absolutely do with the technology is you put it into a remarketing campaign. So, Facebook, Google, ad roll, all of those things, you should start chasing them around the internet. You have their information, you can do it.
Absolutely
And
true.
then lastly, I say the very least that everybody should do is they should take that data. And then if they're sending out a weekly or monthly newsletter, they should include those people in it. And it's very soft. So if I came to your website today and, I bopped around a little bit and then I left, and then on Friday I get your weekly digest, I wouldn't think twice about it. I'd probably be happy and I probably wouldn't opt out and all these different things. And that's really soft. But the thing we'll tell you is we know what they looked at. So not only can you then hit them with the soft, add them to the digest, but you could set it for 7 days, 6 days to hit them with a specific, offer. Now that you've gotten an email across the bow, you've kind of validated it. Maybe they've opened it or clicked it, and that kind of further qualifies them. And then you can go more aggressive. And then if they open up that or they click from that, you can literally have our system can call you and say, "Hey, you got a hot one. We got one on the hook." You ever watch those guys fishing for tuna? You get one on the hook, the
Yep.
whole team
Yep.
comes running.
Fish
Um,
on, fish on.
so
Yeah.
it's like the
We
same
do that
thing,
here
right?
in Lake
Our
Michigan.
system can actually call you and say, "Hey, this person just did this action. Do you want to call them?" So you could take it and become more aggressive. I just don't think that you do it like instantaneous minute that they're on
No,
your
not at
site.
all.
If I'm on your
No,
website and you call
even
me, I'm going to be a little freaked out.
yeah, exactly. And our tool, you just brought up something pretty good. In that mix of touch points, we can have the system leave you an what do they call it, a blind voicemail. Well, it'll have your voice and it'll show up in their voicemail and not even ring their phone. So as they're checking their voicemail, they'll see something from your business saying, "Hey, we do windows. You might be looking. Want to set up an appointment? Call here or text here." It's just so many opportunities to build relationships with. You just got to do it right.
Yeah. So, okay. So we talked a little bit about um, the website visitor ID, Bob. We talked about database reactivation, and that's, the classic to me of, lost customer. And you got data sitting there, you might as well, clean up, revalidate it, use it. I mean, why not? Um, the other one is really like, and it almost goes to what we were talking about with the speed to lead. So with the ability to identify what people are looking at, and then to be able to see people taking actions, you're able to insert yourself at the right moment. So all that we're talking about kind of timing and things like that, that's all about speed to lead for us. And God forbid they actually like opt in or fill out, your form, request, you know, in-person consultation, a consultation, whatever it is. Like imagine like that person gets immediately responded to. You can pick them up on all the different platforms. We even have the technology to pull in their like LinkedIn and things like that that like you normally don't get. So imagine that you have this information. You can go look at the person. You can get a much better feel and bigger vision of. It's not just a single identifier. You can really then craft what we always talk about, which is you can craft more of the persona around your ideal customers. So that data becomes really important because we're able to pull a lot of it, and we can pull, I mean, Jimmy, I think it can pull like the last 8 car registrations, household data, value, when you bought, when your mortgage is up. So,
Right, right.
yeah, and then I always talk about it, but you can always take your existing data and reverse append it, and that's where you actually take your data and analyze it. And one of the basic ones that Jimmy and I always talk about, especially for brick and mortar, is mapping your data. Right? If I can identify a neighborhood and I'm getting a lot of business from that neighborhood, then maybe I should be marketing to that neighborhood more. Um,
Right.
so
Yep.
same
I
thing with
love
the data.
dropping a dot on the map. Absolutely.
Yeah, the other big one for me, Jimmy, is the out of office. And when I think of out of office and you combine that with the fact that our thing is so conversational, people get attention 24/7. Basically, that's what the out of office is. It's not just, you know, leave me a message. It's like think of your best salesperson that you've ever had work for you, better than you as the business owner, answering questions for customers at all hours of the day and night. That's basically what it is.
True. It's true.
That's it.
It's that,
That's
it's
I
that
just summed it
simple.
up perfectly. Jimmy's like,
Yeah, you did. I would, huh? Oh, that was too simple.
yeah. And then the other big one that is reputation and reviews, and I see a lot of that out there. And there's definitely a difference in what ours does versus others. Um, ours can nurture them. Ours can ask for referrals. There's a whole referral piece that people don't understand in the background. So it's not just about managing the review and responding to a review. It's a matter of then having that next step that actually asks the refer a friend type of thing, and our bots can do that. So those are
Yep.
a couple big ones. And the one that's not on here, and there's a couple on here, and there's 3 more pieces to it, but I'm going to talk about one. So if anybody's in the e-commerce space, the the cart abandonment technology today that we have plugged in that can follow up with people that have left a shopping cart or put something in a shopping cart. I do it all the time, Jimmy, but I
Yeah, me
very
too.
few people follow up with me. It's only people that I know that I've registered with. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Like
Sure does.
GoDaddy. Okay. GoDaddy
Yeah.
loves to tell me that I always look at URLs, and I know you do too.
Yep.
Right? They're like,
Truth.
hey, you forget something? But this is imagine that you're able to do that when they haven't even gotten to that checkout point yet. It's not somebody that's purchased from you, but you're able to swing back to them. You know that they put that thing in their shopping cart, and now you can send them a direct mail piece, more information about it to get them over the line of why. And I think that's a big piece that's I'm not showing anywhere on the screen right now.
No, you're not. And it is a huge piece. And I will say it did make me buy something once. Then I had remorse, but they did remind me. And then those shoes I bought, I was like, oh man. But anyways, whole nother story.
Well, that's remarketing. So the other big piece today, like I was telling you, I was doing, I was actually looking at a lot of other people's marketing today, and remarketing. As much as you think you get chased around the internet a lot, like I'm telling you, it. I would venture to say, Jimmy, it's
It's
easily less
underutilized.
than 10% of companies out there doing it. I'm going to look up the
And
stat. Okay? I'm going to
it's the
stop the share. I'm
cheapest.
going to look up the stat as we're on the. I'm going to.
It's
What is the stat
absolutely.
on how many businesses are?
It's the cheapest form of digital advertising out there. I mean, they get your money up front and then they allow you to retarget and remarket. It's just it's like half of what your ad spend is. And then when you throw a display ad on, which is different than a retargeting ad, now when you're going to CNN or um, ESPN, it'll give you a whole nother square ad, long ad, banner ad. It just a whole nother tool on top of everything else. That's even less used. Yep. That's one of my favorites to do. What you finding?
Okay, here we go. We got some top stats here. The well, it's pretty big. Almost $9 billion just in the retargeting. It's 8 times cheaper to reach per click by retargeting.
Yeah,
That's pretty good. That's a great
just said
stat.
that. Yep. Yep.
Uh, so it says 88% of businesses already use or plan on using AI to improve their retargeting campaigns. I find that stat to be far off the target.
No,
And I'm gonna run a whole
what they're
class on
saying is
retargeting.
what they're saying is Meta's new technology in AI is allowing you to go through their learning and make your ads better and tweak them. And that AI technology is allowing people to think more about the retargeting. They're not using it yet. The AI is making it easier. That's what they're saying in that stat.
Here's a great stat. First time website visitors only convert 2.4% of the time. So, and I see it every day wholeheartedly. Imagine you're able to get 40% or even 5 or 10, never mind the 40% of your website visitors, you're able to get their information. Like 48% of all e-commerce transactions come from returning visitors.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, imagine if you're a company that's not on Amazon and you have your own e-commerce store and you're trying to sell some sunglasses or some stuff off Etsy, and all of a sudden you get more people that you didn't know about. It's pretty powerful.
yeah, I'm gonna find that stat. But it's a good one. But I'm telling you, it's a very small percentage of people that are using it effectively. The
Yep.
and it it's like this proved that Jimmy said it. 8 times cheaper. Like that's amazing. So that means that if they just brush across you, then you can go out and you know use remarketing, and it's pennies versus dollars in the marketing game. So if you're not doing that and you need help with that, that's absolutely something that we can help you
It is in our wheelhouse, as they say. It's a
with. Yeah.
specialty. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
so
And we're glad to help.
I'm going to do a whole thing on it, Joe. I'm going to do I think in the coming weeks, I'll bust out some remarketing stuff because I don't think people understand it as if they did,
Yeah, and we'll put
I'd
that
see
in the
more of it.
community. I'd say,
Yeah,
why
the
don't we
only way
shoot
to
for
get it
putting
is in
that
the
in the
community.
yeah, put it in the community next week.
It's in the community.
I'm not gonna let
Awesome,
them off
Jimmy.
the
Well,
hook, guys.
we've run a bit today. I always love chatting with you, but I have a nice cold beer floating around here somewhere with my name on it. So I'm going to get after it. What do you got going on?
About the same. Fam's in town. I can see a big New York style pizza and a big cold beer.
I'm like, I got Ray Rob's liquor cabinet over here. Yeah, the big old bottle of bourbon is like over there. So
Gotta love
great
it. All right, well,
chatting
you go
with you,
have one
brother.
for
I
me.
love you.
All right,
Let me
love you
know if
too.
you need anything. Anybody out there, feel free to reach out to Jimmy or I. We're happy to help in any way we can. If you want us to look at your marketing, we give free advice all the time. Just hit us up. We're happy to do it.
Have a great day, guys.
Thanks. Hey, make sure you subscribe, join the community,
Ring the bell,
all
all
those
that fun
things.
shit.
Love you, brother. Be
Exactly.
good.
Love you. See ya.